Hey there, I'm Jackie Ferris. This week on the 302, we're spicing things up at Ramsey's farm in Wilmington. We're learning how to pick the perfect pumpkin. Not yet, but soon. And we're also finding out all the great things you can do with your family when you come out. Get ready, the 302 Pumpkin Spice Edition is headed your way. Hey everybody, it's about that time of year again. Everybody is thinking about pumpkins, and what better place to come and do that and pick up a couple than Ramsey's Farm in Wilmington. I'm joined by Carl Ramsey to talk a little bit about all that the farm has here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for coming out. Welcome to our farm. We have a beautiful place here. We grow lots of pumpkins and do lots of fall festivities, as people would say. We've been doing this since about 1860, so almost 200 years now. I'm the 6th generation to farm this farm, and we are delighted to have everyone out this fall.
So when you come out to pick the perfect pumpkin, you certainly have the pumpkin patch. We have the pumpkin, is it the pumpkin house that we're in?
Yes, we are.
So how do we pick the perfect pumpkin, say for if we want to carve a pumpkin?
Well, first, I always like to start with a good stem. Good orange, wholesome, like solid pumpkin. Make sure it's not soft at any point. Pick it off the vine, take it home, and then we let it sit. And then we want to carve it about 2 weeks before Halloween so that we get that perfect Halloween face that keeps and does not rot away before the Halloween night.
Now, I know some people try all kinds of tricks to keep their pumpkins fresher longer, like sitting them in water. Does that really work? No?
I don't know about that.
You're just the pumpkin grower, not the pumpkin carver. So anyways, Google that. So if we're wanting to bake, is it the same kind of pumpkin? Is there a special pumpkin for pumpkin pie?
Very good question. So you would actually want more of like an heirloom type pumpkin, like a Cinderella. So they're like kind of like a stacker. We have some of them right around here, and they're a more dense form of pumpkin. So like a regular orange pumpkin has a hole in the middle of it, so it's hollow, like this much. But those pumpkins, they only like a golf ball size. They're very dense pumpkins. Some people say they're sweeter. Honestly, we eat so much pumpkin pie around here, I couldn't tell you the difference.
So if we come out to pick our pumpkin, you talked about the stem. A lot of people say with like melons and things that if you thunk it and it has a good sound. Is that a thing?
That is a thing. And they also say if you put your fingers on them and see how like far the lines are apart. But with pumpkins, honestly, I would just make sure it's a solid pumpkin and a good stem, because I always like the good stem because I think the stem is like one part that defines an actual nice, like brilliant pumpkin.
Absolutely. If it's on your porch, you know, it just kind of like makes it so much nicer. And plus, I like to carve the bottom out and then set it down, you know, and not mess with the stem. So what kinds of pumpkins? You got all kinds here, but what kinds do you have on the farm?
Yeah, so we actually have, I think, 8 or 9 different colors of pumpkins and probably 35 different varieties this year.
Wow.
In our pumpkin patch, so this year we grew about 10 or 15 acres of pumpkins, and we probably grew about 60,000 pumpkins this year. So you got red pumpkins, you have white, you have orange, pink, blue, yellow, some red, all different colors.
So which is the hardest to grow? I mean, is a blue pumpkin, I've never seen a blue pumpkin. Is that hard to grow?
They're actually pretty easy. I would put the brown ones, which we call peanut pumpkins. They're right back there. They are the most temperamental type of pumpkin, I would say. The rest of them, like orange pumpkins, are actually fairly easy to grow. I'm sure lots of people have grown them like by accident in their yard. They smashed the pumpkin somewhere and it just regrew. But the peanut pumpkins, they start to rot. So you got to take very good care of them and make sure, you know, you don't really want the most wet weather before Halloween, or else you'll have issues with that.
So I guess they call it the peanut pumpkin because it looks like they're peanuts
Looks
all
like there's
over.
peanuts all over
What
the
is that?
entire pumpkin. That's just that's genetic modification of the pumpkin. So it's like warts on a pumpkin. Like some of our pumpkins actually have warts. They're like gold colored and they're called warty golds.
So if I want to come out and thunk a pumpkin, get a bunch of different kinds of pumpkins, how do I do that? Do I just show up? Do you have special hours?
So we are open every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so Fridays we're open from 1 to 5 p.m. and then Saturdays and Sundays we're open from 10 to 5 p.m. Okay, and then we're open from 6 to 9 Friday and Saturday for night events throughout. It's from the 16th of September all the way till Halloween.
Okay, so when I come to get my pumpkin or get into your fields, should I bring stuff or just show up?
So obviously wear farm appropriate clothing, you know, keep it so that you're not going to get your favorite shoes muddy on the farm. But you do just show up, and we don't charge for admission into the pumpkin patch. We charge to do activities on the farm, so all the other different stuff like hay rides, the corn maze, barnyard playground, the animals, those are all admission things. But to go into the pumpkin patch, you can go in for free. You just pay by the pound for pumpkins.
And what's the average size of a pumpkin?
We have pumpkins that probably range from 1/4 of a pound all the way to 50 pounds out in the field. And we do have some bigger ones, but we pick those for you because they're a little bit more difficult to get into your wagons.
So it just depends on how big a pumpkin, how big your porch is, I suppose.
Exactly, exactly. How much pumpkin pie you want to make?
A lot of pumpkin pie. Can you ever have too much pumpkin pie?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of pumpkin pies in my day.
I bet. So you mentioned the barnyard animals, and when we return, we're going to go check out those cute little barnyard animals. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Way, and I'm a guest curator at Winterthur Museum, Garden and Library, and the fashion on the 302 is phenomenal.
Welcome back. We have moved over to the barnyard animals as promised, and it looks like you have a friend there, Giselle, right?
We do. We have Giselle. She is a 2-year-old goat that we have here on the farm. She is quite the superstar of the farm. She makes her presence known no matter what time of the year it is.
So let's talk a little bit about what would you call the group of goats? It's not a flock. Is it a herd or?
A herd is probably the right term for a group of goats. Our group, they are quite the herd. They are together every single day. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever the weather may bring.
Yeah, and you keep them for educational purposes whenever school groups come?
Yeah, so our goats have 2 main purposes. It's probably for agritourism. People get to see them. They want to pet the goats, say hi, feed them. Giselle's over here eating a couple leaves off the ground, enjoying herself. And then for school tours, we educate people about different animals we have on the farm and what their purpose is on the farm. Also, a new purpose to the farm for them is we do goat yoga. People love the goat yoga. It's gone off like a hit.
I can imagine, but you say that it's not often that the goat climbs up. It may investigate, but...
They'd have to be pretty inclined by food, Cheerios, whatever it may be, to really get up on someone's back. For the most part, they just kind of go around and say hello.
So you heard it here. If you want the goats to get up on your back, you put some Cheerios right about here, Carl.
Put some Cheerios and they'll make a leap up there.
So a lot of people love goats. Tell me a little bit about the kind of goats that you have here and how you have to care for them.
So we have Nigerian dwarf goats, and then we have one larger goat named Reba right there, and I'm not exactly sure of what kind of goat she is, but they are all Nigerian dwarfs, especially Giselle here. And we have Fern, you got Shania and Dolly and Spot over there.
So I'm sensing a theme here.
They got country music stars and just some random ones that we came up with. Essentially, we went to an auction and we kind of rescued these guys from the auction house there, and now they have a amazing home that they get to go around with. Giselle's like a dog, honestly. she's part dog.
Absolutely, because they can develop those kinds of attachments to people.
Exactly, exactly. They know who feeds them. That's what I'll say at the end of the day, because like you and I walk separate directions, they're probably going to follow me more than they'll follow you.
Absolutely. They don't know me, not yet anyway.
Exactly.
When I come back, I will have
you
those
got to
Cheerios.
come back.
Let's talk about, you know, the other animals that you have here. I see you got a turkey in there.
Yes, we do. We have Tom the turkey. He's over there. You'll hear him gobble throughout the day. And then we have a whole bunch of different types of chickens. So we got a lot of layer chickens. They're not meat birds. And so we have chickens that lay brown eggs. We have chickens that lay green eggs. And then we have a chicken that lays a pinkish egg.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And they're all different breeds of chickens. And in fact, University of Delaware actually has a chicken now that lays a blue egg because it's a blue hen, you know.
Nice.
The
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that going there. I don't have any of those yet, but at some point here, I'm gonna have to get one.
Well, talk to me about the importance of having animals on a farm like this for school groups. I mean, it's important for folks to learn about this stuff.
Yeah, so lots of people, we try to teach them about where their food comes from. So like, you know, whether it be eggs or whether it be beef, like from our beef cows, we have Wagyu cows actually. So it's a special type of meat that's very marbled. And right now we have about 50 of those. They're not all right here. That would be a lot of cows we'd be getting butted up against pretty hard. But we love teaching people. That's like kind of the main reason why Dad started the farm, was to get people out here to show them where food comes from. Like oranges don't just grow on a grocery store shelf, you know, or beef isn't just grown in the back of a meat counter. So we teach the kids about some things about the animals, how to take care of them, and what they might consume in real life that came from an animal. Well, it'd be green eggs and ham, or whether it be like chicken tenders or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, just to know you're the source of your meal.
Yeah, it's
and
nice.
also just to learn about a farm.
Yes. Get to see a farm. Not a whole lot of people get to see goats every day, or a whole herd of cattle or whatnot. So we bring them out here to show them that type of stuff.
Absolutely. So you've got the Wagyu beef, you've got the pumpkins, you've got the education aspect.
Yep.
What else do you have going on?
The produce stand is another big educating aspect. We grow lots of different like veggies like tomatoes, zucchini, squash, peppers, and then some fruits and stuff like that. And we grow flowers for people to cut too. You cut flowers like sunflowers, zinnias, and things like that. And that's also helped because we didn't have something necessarily to talk about earlier on in the season, but now we have something that can grow like full season. So we bring kids in during the springtime and we get to talk to them about like either cover crops or other different things that are growing in that specific, that specific time of the year in that climate,
So in addition to all of that, you have the maze. And when we return, we're gonna go out to the corn maze. The #1 attraction, is it #1? #2? #3?
They're all great.
They're all great, but we're gonna go there when we return.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Scott Lackman with the Lewis Historical Society. I'm a volunteer here. We love our history, but we love sharing our spooky side of the history, especially on the 302.
Okay, we've picked the perfect pumpkin, we've petted the goats, and now we're entering into the corn maze. And there's actually a theme to this corn maze, right?
Yes, there is. This year it is called Jack and the Cornstalk. It is like, long story short, it is Jack and the Beanstalk, but you're in a corn maze, so it's Jack and the Cornstalk.
And there's a book that goes with like a story?
Yes, there's a storybook. You can buy it at the farm while you're here. But as you go through the maze, you get to read all the different pieces of the story. And if you find them all, okay, there's I think 11 signs in the corn maze. And you find them all and you get to the end, you'll get to see the final story or this final page of the book.
So it pays off. So how long does it take typically, once you're following these clues in the story to get where you need to go?
So in our corn maze, which is approximately 12 acres this year, it takes people, I'd say about 45 minutes to an hour to get through the entire maze if they do it properly. Some people can take shortcuts and get through it and not get the whole story finished.
Yeah. Can you get lost in this maze?
You can get lost. People ask if will we come get them, and I said, listen, I want to go home at some point during the day, so yes, we will come get you.
Oh my, I can imagine being lost in the corn maze, something out of Children in the Corn. Oh my God, I'd be terrified.
We try not to remind too many people about that
No,
before they go into the corn maze.
Just erase that from your memory. You didn't hear that. So we come into the maze. How hard is it? I mean, do you plant the corn this way or do you cut it this way?
We cut it. So we plant the corn at 2 different angles so we get it very thick. That's what we want, because we don't want people just escaping down a row that the corn was planted in. And then we create a file with the design that we want, and then we import it into a machine we have, and then it has GPS, and then it cuts the whole entire corn maze for us. You kind of sit behind the controls and it tells you what to do.
So if you're above, and we're gonna fly the drone because this is something that needs to be seen from above, what do we see? What's the design?
So the design this year, it says Ramsey's Farm since 1860, okay? And it has a big tractor in it with a hayride wagon and a bunch of ears of corn and pumpkins and all different types of stuff we grow on the farm.
And you guys do a different design every year, except this year it was such a good design, you decided to repeat it.
We had to repeat it one more time, but every year usually we do transition to a new design. We also have a new field every year.
Okay.
So it's this field this year, and then next year the pumpkins will actually be planted here, and then the corn maze will go up to where the pumpkins were, where we were earlier.
Okay. So why do you do that? Just to like give the ground a rest, or?
So it's 2 separate reasons. Weed control on corn is a lot easier. Pumpkins, there is no real weed control other than like hand weeding and stuff like that. And also, corn and pumpkins use different nutrients, and they also have different insects that come with them. So if you flip out, if we grew corn after corn after corn after corn, you probably start getting more and more like worms in the corn or bugs and whatnot. So we flip-flop them so it gets rid of certain, pests throughout the way.
So while this is a fun thing for families to come and do, when this is all said and done, this is a product for you guys.
Yes, it is. So in the middle of November, when we're done with the corn maze, we come in with our combine and our corn picker, and we pick all the corn or shell the corn. And some of it we sell, but a lot of it we actually save and feed the Wagyu cows for the wintertime with it.
That's awesome. So it's just kind of like everything you grow and everything you do, there's a purpose and there's a cycle.
Full circle.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
as it is. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, they just plant this corn and...
No, everything on the farm has some way it's going to play into another part of the farm. That's what we like to.
You know, the one thing that we didn't talk about, the hay rides. We did a great video with your dad. It's on our Facebook page. I think it's May 25th, so you might want to go check it out. And he's like on the tractor taking people on hay rides. Talk to me about that.
So every year we do hay rides whenever we're open to the public. And the hayride has a big figure 8 throughout the farm. So on your hayride, you'll get to see every aspect of the farm. You get to go past the animals. You get to go past all 3 mazes we have. You get to go past the combine slide area, through the pumpkin patch. And it gives people a good outlook of the farm. They get to see beautiful scenery while they observe everything we do on the farm.
That's really cool that you're able to take it all in. And who doesn't love a hayride? I mean, let's be honest.
Middle of fall, nothing's better.
Absolutely. So if somebody wants to find out about all the activities, I know you just had a really big dinner. Can you talk to us about that? I mean... Yeah,
so finding out about activities, you can actually go to ramseysfarm.com or follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Those are the 3 best ways to check us out. The farm-to-table dinner was absolutely exceptional. We did it with Cafe Gelato, and we had a 9-course meal, I believe it was, and we had wine tasting along the way, and all the different pieces of the meal had a different aspect of the farm. So you had tomatoes that we grew, you had basil that we grew, we had our own Wagyu beef, lots of zucchini, squash, eggplant, all peppered throughout the meal.
That sounds like a show for next year. I think the crew is in agreement with me. Yes, next year. So, there's so much that you do. I mean, it's kind of like a modern day farm. You guys really hustle. You work all the angles, you got your social media, so you have to be that way as a farmer these days, right?
Yeah, farming, I guess it's changed for us. You have two types of farmers. You have farmers that grow crops, lots of like corn and soybeans and whatnot, but those are big time farmers. They're mostly like out west or in the south. They cover lots of acres. Us, we're not necessarily concerned about covering acres. We're more agritourism. That's what we would classify ourselves as. We want to bring the public out. We have the right demographic, and we want to teach them about the farm and get them to enjoy the farm as much as we do.
Just an awesome experience.
Yes.
We have had an awesome experience. Carl, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for
giving
coming
us
out.
the grand tour, and we'll be right back. I think this is the way out. Oh, hey, did you get lost in the maze too? If you happen to come and check it out, make sure you snap a picture and share it with us on Facebook. And when you finally get out, there are so many other things to check out in Delaware. I think it's this way. For more information on any of the events here at Ramsey's Farm, you can visit ramseysfarm.com. That'll do it for this week's episode of the 302. We are going to leave you with some beauty shots from the maze. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on the 302.